All right, guys. So like I said in the last class, we're just going to start off with just I need you guys to talk just to know how you understand what's going on. At least you can have you'll be able to explain what you've learned the previous class. So without wasting much time, Ime, can you just go a brief on what we did the last class? Just a brief, like summarize what we did, what you understood. So let's just hear from you. Hello, Ime.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, boss.
Last class, basically, we touched on SCL, access control list. Now, what I understand by SCL is when you create the app, you you set up SCL, that is the kind of a security list. Who can see it? Who can access it? Who can edit? Who has right to edit or right? So it all depends on the scope you're given by the business analyst, which is you do it according to the scope you're given. You give access to maybe the department that needs to access it or read it. That's what basically what I understand by SCL.
All right, that's all right. That's good. Kayo, I just need your summarization of the previous class. So you go.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Last class, actually, last week I entered last week on I think on Friday and on Saturday and Sunday. I didn't know too much of what was being done back then, but I remember was it Thursday? Was it last week Saturday? Yes. Based on the class I attended, we you taught us things on instant. I think it was on instant, and you talk about RBAC. Was it last week? I'm so sorry. I didn't write dates. Please, can you just give me
So
some minutes? I'll come back, please. Just give me
all
some
right,
minutes to
that's
go
fine.
through now. Yeah.
Okpe, you're up. You just got 10 minutes for this stuff. Yeah, Okpe, you're up. Just just give a brief summarization of the last. Just summarize the last class before I start saying tautology. So just summarize the last class. Tell us what you just tell me what you understand with regards to the previous session we had. Okay, are you busy? Hello? All right, okay, you're busy. Okay, we'll just carry on with the what we're doing. But thanks, Ime, for at least speaking. That is how, like I said, that's how you grow. You have to keep talking. Just keep talking about it, what you've done. Talk about what you've learned from the last class. You can have a group for yourself just to discuss what you've learned because it's going to help, right? It's going to push you forward to getting your dream job. A brief summarization of our previous session was about ACL, and which I did explain, just like he said, it's just like you take control, like a security control in ServiceNow. It's different from the role because the collection of permission, that is the ACL. Is that collection? Is that permission? So when you accumulate all those collection of those permissions, so ACL itself is the permission. So the collection of the ACL is what leads to your role, right? So, and your role is what you can control your group. So you understand the branch is just like a tree, a tree that has branches, right? So the root is your ACL. It goes next to your role and all like just like that. So it's a stage, right? You need to understand them that this is what at this point this is what it does and this is what this one does. So they all have different functions, right? But they work they are just to achieve the same purpose, which is restrict the activity of a group, restrict activity of a person. So it just involve restriction basically. Now that's for ACL. So today we're going to be talking about CMDB. Now, CMDB is like this. When you're working in a company, right, and you have your printer, I'm just going to share my screen, guys. Just a minute. All right, guys. So in a company, you have computer, you have device on your network, you have application, you have services, right? Now, when you have all these things, if they are not in sync, right? They are not connected together. And let's take, for instance, that is a company that has about 50 to 60 staff, a big organization or medium organization, and they have all these equipment. Now, take for instance, if a server goes down, so you guys, maybe it's an IT company or a network servicing company, and you get customers to complain that your services maybe the internet is down and all that, and when any of your server goes down or any of your device goes down or any application service go down, what will happen? There will be chaos. Because take note, when there's a downtime on an application, someone is losing money. There's always an agreement. So when there's an agreement, it means that if these things are not working to maximum efficiency, then that is when you see you can claim. I'll give you one simple example. I was traveling one time and I got delayed by a flight. Or I got delayed. My trip was delayed actually. So I had about 3 hours delayed and I got money for it because I was able to claim. And that is what happens. So when things go down, there's someone has to pay for it. Obviously, someone has to pay for it. So that is where your CMDB comes in. Now, your CMDB gives you the control, it gives you the visibility, right? You will be able to detect what is happening. You will know. So once there's a server failure, you can easily trace your server failure, right? So the word CMDB basically is just configuration. It's called configuration management database. When you hear database, something should come to your mind. Where you store things, right? Where a database basically is where you store your data, right? So now configuration application, right? This is the core component in your service now, right? They provide what essential functionalities for managing your your CMDB. Now, this application includes your hardware, that is your tracking of your hardware, and all that what configuration item. Now that which this it's all enabled what by default through your CMDB plugin during what when you just install. The minute you do your installation, they are all set up in there. Now, take a look at this. The next slide. This gives you total, this is a total overview of your CMDB, right? First of all, what is CMDB? CMDB what is a centralized repository that stores information about all components of an information what system. Now, repository has been in use for years. Now, the concept of what database, it actually originated from what information technology infrastructure library, which is ITEL. If you notice, ITEL framework. Now, if you notice, when I started, we were talking about some roles that people can have. And if you are conversant with ServiceNow environment, if you have a job, if there's an advert, a job advert online, most times you see this word ITEL, ITEL, ITEL. ITEL is Information Technology Infrastructure Library framework, ITEL framework, right? It's very important. That's what most, because that gives you an overview of what if you check it, information technology infrastructure tells you about the infrastructure of what of an IT system. It's very, very, very. It's been there for ages, right? Most times they need such certification for you to even go through your service now, but because it's embedded already, service now modifies it. So even when you have your admin, that's why admin is like the basics you need to get for you to even start doing anything in service now. Right now, like I said, when you hear database help you to organize. It helps organization basically to monitor, number one, discover and manage your system component necessary for effective business processes and service what delivery. So when you have your database, everything is there, your information is there, you can track it, you can discover what new and what's not new and all that basically, right? So now, still on this, I'm just breaking it down, breaking every bit down, right? We're breaking your database, we're breaking your ITEL, which is the information, we're breaking your repository, right? Like I said, stores information and all that. Now, when you are talking about your CMDB, right? Why do we even need a CMDB? Why do we even need it in ServiceNow? First of all, you need it in ServiceNow because it's going to be a source of truth. That's what we call source of truth, where you are sure that all your applications, your hardware, software, service, document, people, and location are all being managed properly. Right? So when you have information like this in your system, if a server goes down, you know where to go. Oh, I'm working. For instance, we're working right now, and my colleague just said, "Oh, I think the server is down." And initially, right, when you are working in a company, in those days, like before these new innovations of all these applications that make things, that simplify things, right? So when your system have issues, what's the process? You have to call your IT personnel. Now you call the IT desk. Oh, IT department, there's issue here. Oh. We have this application is done. We have this device is done. We have this is done. You have to call them, right? Now they have to come. Now it takes time for them to come. Most times, if they have lots of people working, then it will be difficult. If two people are servicing a whole floor of about 20 people and you have issues about with 10 staffs, what's going to happen? They are going to struggle. Right now, first of all, struggling not just because they cannot solve the issue, they have to find the root cause of that issue, first of all, which you have your CMDB for. CMDB is going to break all those down. It's going to make it very easy for you to detect what is really wrong. Do you get? Now, it serves as a configuration what manager, right? And this tool is central to build logical model of your company infrastructure. It imitates what you have in your company, right? Ensure that all component is properly managed. Everything in your company is properly managed. And with this CMDB, it allows you to manage your hardware and other configuration items, providing a structured approach to identify. So the benefits are this one, it helps you to what? Identify. It helps you to what? Control. It helps you to what? Maintain and verify that all your components deliver their service. So now, the basic things to note that there are key tables in CMDB. You have your base table, just like I told you when we talk about tables, we talk about base table and core and all that. But in this one, we have your base table, which is your CMDB. We have your CMDB CI, and we have your CMDB underscore relate underscore CI. Those are the three most important tables in CMDB. And you have to take note of that. Your CMDB1, CMDB underscore CI, and your CMDB underscore rail underscore CI. Right? Now, still on the CMDB, if you go through the template, if you go through my slides, you see that what your definition of there as a single source of truth, basically. So something you can trust, so that you know all your informations there, they are valid. Now, what is your CI? Now, CI is anything that need to be managed. Anything that need to be managed is your CI. Your hardware, software, service, documents, people in terms of users or an user group, and also your location. So these are things that need to be managed. Right? Now, we have basic configuration item and we have configuration item relation. Now, when you hear the word basic, right, like I said to you, these are things that are being created first of all by ServiceNow. So, like I've told you, tables also, just get this one also, that table stores data about configuration items. So when a table store, the information they store in a table are basically what the attributes, status, and relationship. Now, these are things you can use to track your CI. So if I go back to that again, first of all, I said your CI is anything that need to be managed. And under your CI, we have what? Basic configuration item. Now, these are it's like a table, a detail where the following information like attribute, status, and relationship are stored. Right? That help you to track, manage what? This individual component. Now we have configuration item relationship. When you hear that word relationship, it tells everything that it just brings about what? How this, for instance, how your hardware is being related to your software or a service or one document or location, how they are all related. So it helps you understand how components interact within your structure. And this relationship is very critical for you to resolve issues when it happens. So I've given you instance saying if a server is down and you know a longer downtime will incur you more cost. You have to pay more. So imagine you are paying me for a service. You are paying me for internet service in your house. And there's an agreement that says if I don't give you 24 hours internet, if it goes down for about more than 5-10 minutes, you can claim back some money from me. Right? So because I can dictate exactly where the problem is coming from through my what? Because of my CMDB, which is what? My source of truth. Right? So I would know the relationship between my service and application, software and application, and all that. Now, when you look at the slide, you can see an example of a relation. Now, business service email, first of all, might depend on application, Microsoft Exchange. Now, Microsoft Exchange also might also be what connected to server 1 and server 2, or it can be used by server 1 by server 2. For my business email to work, it depends on application Microsoft. It can be depend on application backout software. Right? So what are the benefits which I've said? Improve visibility also. I didn't add that, but it does improve visibility. From all my explanation, I'm all about visibility. It improves visibility, faster impact in analysis, better change and release management, reduce service outage. You can easily detect where the issue is coming out from. Now, key capabilities: discover and what identify CI automatically. Now, when you have your discovery, we're going to get to that. You have your discovery. That discovery is used to discover your CIs, where you can use your meat servers, right? These are means of getting what your data in your CMDB. Now, model relationship between CI. It's mold, like it is going to create it, which we're going to see also to track in parts. These are all I've all talked about. Now, how CMDB work in ServiceNow. So you can see this is just a typical example of what happens. First of all, it's being discovered with your meat server, ECCQ, right? It scans your environment and what finds your CI. When it scans your environment, it goes for anything that has an IP. It checks, be it a Linux, be it what Windows. It's going to scan your system, and when it scans it, it's going to bring back that information. Now, identification and reconciliation. Now, depend on how people input data to their CMDB. Now, you want to track everything. You want to track at least down to your router, down to your switches, down to your network. So there's difference between your hardware and your software, right? So when you say hardware, these are your physical appliances you can use, right? But when we come to software, there are not things there are things you can't see, but they exist within your environment, basically. So whatever software you're using, what we're using right now is a software, right? For me to reach out to you, we're not doing it physical, we're doing it virtual. So no other stuff is your permission. Access to your CMD table data requires some roles such as access ITEL admin CMDB. So these are part of the role base, right? Now, still on your CI management. Now, under your CMDB, like I said, it provides logical model of your infrastructure. With this CMDB, right, if you've not, everyone can key into the CMDB, you key into the using of CMDB. Why? Whatever business you're doing, we can give you proper visibility to it. So there was one time, I'm not sure it's part of what we're discussing, but there was one time a um it was it yeah an hospital was hacked, and when they hacked them, they had to shut down their system, and it affected all part of it. But when they were trying to trace it, basically that's about security actually. But imagine a company that does not have control or does not even know, does not manage all their assets or does not manage all their CIs. When issues comes up, they cannot easily detect it. So they don't have, first of all, they don't have the visibility to know what and what is wrong, where this issue is coming from, and how it can be resolved. But the first thing is, how did you get the data in? That is the process which is there, saying first of all you can discover, but it's not only through discovery that you get your data into CMDB. You can create it, you can import your data, you can import your data with the use of import sets, you can use a discovery, you can use integration to bring in data, right? So you just, for instance, if I cannot discover everything, then I can update it basically, right? So with that, there's what they call CMDB workspace. Now that's a powerful tool for administrating policy, managing configuration item, lifecycle, viewing analytic, and approving or rejecting assigned tasks. Right, the workspace is being created for CMDB basically. So, like when you say a workspace, it's where everything, where if you're a workman, if this is your workspace, this is where you work basically. These are all the things available there to make you what succeed, to make your job what easy. Now, discovery and service mapping. I did make mention of discovery, and we also have service mapping. Just a brief explanation on that. Discovery what is used to manage instrumentations and discovery servers. Now, discovery uses what meet server. Now, that meet server it uses, it's a lightweight Java process that can run on your customer's Linux or Windows server, right? Even a public cloud. When it runs there, it can gather up information. And what the meet server basically gathers information about device application on your network, such as your operating system, software, memory, and other attributes. Now, if you remember what I said from the onset, where I said that you can track under the key capabilities, saying you can track CI attributes. What are the CI attributes? Most of the CI attributes are what? Your operating system, your memory, and all that. Right? Now, I go back again. What is your discovery? You use your discovery with the help of your meet server, which will gather all this information. So when you have a discovery on your system, with the meet server, it help get all this information of your Linux or your Windows, or like of a network, even of a switch. Now we'll get all those information and bring them now to your to your CMDB, right? So with that, you can you can get all those information. So the meet server will scan and it will communicate. What does it communicate? The meet server communicates through proxy server, which will make it adaptable to various network configuration. So take note, it's that because of the proxy server that helps the meet server. So because it can, so if I can speak your language, I can communicate with you, right? Exactly. So because of that proxy server, it makes meet server easy to connect with every appliances and bring back those information. Now, discovery also establish relationship between device and application, as well as between communicating application, and help you visualize them, this connection in your dependency view. Now that dependency view will give you what? Visibility. This is a dependency view. Right? This is a dependency view. It's just give you the view of everything. This one depends on this. Where does this one, who is this one connected to? Right? So that is what you get. You get the full visibility to how it works. Now, when you go down to your under your discovery, we have what? Horizontal discovery. Right? So basically, all these things is just for your information right now, right? You get to see the importance of the CMDB. Now, if you can remember, when we were trying to um, create our own customized list, we use incidents. So when you go to incidents, sometimes you just click this, click that, assign to this. You see a caller that tells you people have issues. If a server is down, if a monitor is down, they raise a ticket. Now you need your CI so that you can connect them properly to the right people. You have to choose the right CI. So take for instance, if I'm good at fixing laptop and you're reporting a case of network issue to me, will I be efficient? I will not be efficient. You have to give me something that I'm good at, right? Which the CMDB, choosing the right CMDB will help you channel the right issue to the right person who can actually what? Resolve it. Now, IT department uses what? Horizontal discovery, which treats device and application as standalone objects. So when it comes to horizontal discovery, everything is on its own. They're not really that related. Now, why that method provides what? Basic inventory data. So if you just want to get data, just the only data you want to get, you can use horizontal discovery. But it does not really address the critical challenge of understanding how these objects are connected, like the relationship. So if you scan an IT environment, for instance, an IT department, for instance, you just don't want to. Okay, for me, my setup is two desktop screen, like two basic screen, and a laptop. That's my setup. Now, if I have a mid server to scan this environment, I would want to see not just I have two screen and a laptop. I want to see the relationship between the screen and the laptop. Are they connected? I need all those information because it's going to help me, right? So if, for instance, now I turn on my system and one of my screen is not working, I can go and check it and say, where is this problem coming from? Could it be the connector? Is it not properly work? So it's going to tell me all the device I have and how they relate. But on your horizontal discovery, it doesn't give you more information. It only gives you that you have one screen here, you have another screen, and you have a laptop. Right? Those are the kind of information you get. But under your service mapping, it tells you the relationship. It tells you what the relationship of each of these application and the what and the device. So it's like a top-down approach. So under your discovery, you have your discovery and service mapping, right? So your discovery just tells you this is what you have. But under your service mapping, it gives you like a top-down approach that to map your service specific dependency, focusing on interconnected application, like your host that deliver a specific what service. All right, so going forward, another example is like an application service like your financial reporting might also involve what would you need for that? a financial service, like a financial reporting application service. It might be a computer, a website, an application server, database, middleware, network infrastructure. Now, all these components work together to provide that service, right? They all work together to provide the service. But with your service mapping, these are just one of the benefits. With your service mapping, you'll be able to understand the existing configuration data, and it also allows you to immediately see the impact of that problematic object, right? And if a disk drive fails because of your service map, that can show you how it's going to impact the database, so that you can reduce your downtime, which is very, very important. So with that, we're just going to go straight to your CMDB, so that I can just show you what it's like, and we can have just understand what I've been talking about. Just a minute, guys. Let's take this out. Yeah. Okay. All right. Think I need to log in. Okay. All right, guys. So here is my all right. I told you guys about the workspace, right? But for this class, you don't need too much knowledge on the service on the CMDB. But you will need to get that once you're done with your admin. You can go into CMDB, right? And you get more understanding of CMDB. Now, first of all, this is where you need to go to configuration. When you go to configuration, you can go to your CI class manager. Now, when you click on your CI class manager, loading. So if you go through these parts right now, what I'm trying to check is you can see that they have different applications. We have database instance, we have your database servers, we have your network, we have your cluster. Now, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? All right. So guys, these are your CIs, right? If you go back to my definition of CI, and I said, what is your CI? Your CI is what anything that needs to be managed is your CI. Now, and they have their attributes. Look at the attributes: application, operating service, the OS version, description. So let's click on this first one. Let's click on one server. No, I need to get your CI. Just let me get the CI out. Configuration item. Configuration. You have your configuration, you have your servers, you have your digital attributes, and the CI documents. Okay, no, that's your base. So if you want to check, so just go to CMDB, CMDB underscore CI underscore lists dot do. All right, guys. So these are your CIs. If you check, I went to CMDB underscore CI underscore list. Like I told you, there are three basic tables: your CMDB, your CMDB underscore CI, and your CMDB underscore rel underscore CI. That one shows you the relationship. So if you see all this, their manufacturer. Okay, so we're going to click one. Like I also showed you the previous ones, those were also your CI. But I just wanted to go through under your CMDB CI basically. Now you can see configurations. You have your OS domain. So when you use Discovery, you are using Discovery to scan. When it scans your network, these are the information it brings back. Now, when it gets this information from any device, be it your laptop, be it your switch, be it your router, when it brings back this information, it goes now to update the CMDB, which is which is your database, right? Now, when it does update the CMDB, they have some factors, just like we have colos on your table. If most of those information, they look like it's going to check with the help of IRO, which is what indication, identification and reconciliation, right? So first of all, it identifies it that what you are sending, what you are bringing in, do we have this already in our CMDB? Because your CMDB is your source of truth. So if your source of truth is not correct, then obviously all the information you're having will be wrong. So if there's a black hat somewhere, you cannot easily trace the black hat to exactly where it's coming from, right? Take note, we have your base CI, which I'm also going to show you. You have your base CI. Those CIs they are already being given. Like I said, anything you have base, you know that they are ServiceNow already out of the box, created by ServiceNow CMDBs that you have there. So those are your base table, right? All that table emanated from them. You can create your CI from your hardware. You can create it from your software. Depends, right? Okay. So these are the information. These are your CIs. You just get you can check you can update them If you feel you can create them and you can import them depending on how you get them, how you can bring this information to your CMDB. Now we're going to go back. So we're also going to check CMDB underscore rel to tell you the relationship underscore CI underscore list dot do. Now we're just going to click on one. Let's click on this one. Now when you click on it, right, you are going to see it has a network. Does it? It has a page for network adapter, storage device. If it has a storage device, it's going to pop up here. File system, where it's installed on, running processing, serial numbers. All these are information that show you the relationship between what your CIs. So we're just going to go back now and go to your CMDB. Yeah. So this is their workspace. So if I want to go to the workspace for that, I can just come here and click on CMDB. So this is the workspace for CMDB, right? So you can come here, you can create a CI instead of, because when you have a workspace, everything is made easy, right? You can, this is a health dashboard, what it tells you about your new CIs, new application. You can see basically how your CMDB is faring. You can get updates, you can configure those things, you can do that there. Now when you go to your work, my work tells you exactly the what you're monitoring, the tasks you have in your CMDB. Basically 360, for you to use it, you have to update. There's a plugin you have to enable for you to use that, right? And what else? You have your insights. So data ingested. Now for this data ingested, it means how did you get your data into ServiceNow? So you can get your data into ServiceNow through your discovery. You can get it through integration. You can use the ITEL, transform ITEL. You can use imports, but when you're using an import, you have to use a transform script so that you can use your IRA, which will help you to identify and reconcile, right? Also, when it comes to your data governance, we're talking about your health dashboard, completeness, compliance, and correctness. So when you hear governance in anywhere generally, it's about process, policies, and practice, right? So basically, you can get all those information when you configure your dashboard, right? So if we go to CMDB, that gives you the edge. So when you go to CMDB group, so you can see device, workspace, basically. So these are just a brief. So we need to create a new so we go to configuration again, configuration. So under configuration, so you go to your CI class manager. Now, when you go to your CI class manager, now you need to understand your class manager is different from your CI, right? So when we click on open, these are out of the box classes, right? So there's what they call, these are your configuration items. Now, under the configuration item, you have your what? All your classes. So you have to group them. So take for instance, we have male and female. They are human beings, right? Yes. But we now group them. Now in there now, we can have age, right? So the classes, the how you classify this your CI. While your CI can be humans, but the categories you put them are the classes. So now these are your base tables. You have so many base tables. So you can also create. You can create if you want to. So if, for instance, I can go to hardware, just go to hardware. Now under hardware, you can click on hardware. Now, what you can do here is you can create a new one also, but you can extend from each of these classes. So if you want to add a child under hardware, you can add a child. Now, when you're done with your admin and you want to go into service, you want to go into CMDB proper, that is when you will understand that when you have a child under this hardware, it takes the attribute just like your tax table. And I told you about your tax table. There is also a core table, is a base table, is the parent to your incident table. And they get all the attributes. Now, that is where I said something about what? About dictionary override. Now, dictionary override only comes in because you have gotten the attribute. So for instance, if on your tax table, right, you have a column that contains your process stage, installation stage from maybe, for instance, install, publish, retire. Now, when you create a child from that particular table and it tells you it takes the attribute, it takes both the configuration it has. So on that label, if I don't want exactly those stage, I can use dictionary override and edit it. Now, when I do that when I edit that particular table, it's not going to affect the parent because we don't want to be editing things and it goes back to affect. We don't want to edit the parent. We want to edit the child table, for instance. We want everything we're doing on that child table to stay on the child table, right? So dictionary override comes in when you are editing a table that we are editing a particular attribute that was passed on from the parent to the child. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so we're just going to take our usual 10 minutes break, and I will just show you how you create your class, right? Then after that, we'll go over to knowledge article. But before I go, do you have any question? Any question, guys? Yeah, do you have any questions, speak?
Yeah. Sorry, what I want to ask is concerning this class, majority of the time are not something that I've gotten to familiarize myself with. I don't know. Maybe though during the week I will have to go and study the remaining episode that I've not covered. So my
Uh,
question is this:
yeah,
you are using instant for this now.
yeah.
I think everything we have everything about the CMDB are more like the function of instant.
not just a function of instance. CMDB is basically like you have information about your instance. It gives you visibility of your instance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the visibility of your instance. You know what you have and you know what you are using.
All
So we'll
right.
go on the
All
break
right.
now. When we come back, I'll give you more case. I'll give you more. I'll make you understand it and show you where is it applicable. So
All
we'll
right.
meet up by 6:11, 4:11, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys, spot on, spot on. So I'm back exactly the same time. Yeah. Before we go further, right? Just a quick recap. Now, like I said, CMDB. This is where you know the effect of CMDB. I'll come back to this place, but let me just show you so that you can have visibility. You understand more when you see the reason and you know why. So I'm just going to come here. I'll come to incidents. Under incidents, I'll go to create new. Now, guys, this is where it's very important. You see, when you come here, you have to align your CMDB, your CI. You have to align it to a class. So you have to choose a CI. Now, when you choose a CI, for instance, if we click on this CI, there is also a configuration because the incident is like where you complain. There's an issue somewhere. So you raise a ticket, right? So CI are very important they are very important for what? Incident, problem, and your change management. You have to choose the right CIs. So when you choose the right one, it will help you to what? Assign it to the right group. Assign to. Now, when you talk about assign to, just out of what we're talking about, well, assign to is the person who is in charge or who should look after this particular case. Because all these things you are doing, you want to be efficient, number one, and you want to be productive, right? So when you see a company efficient and productive using most of these things, it's because they don't want delay. So if someone call and say, for instance, I'm just going to go back. There was a time I used to work in network telecommunication company, right? And so that company, what they were doing then is they escalate, right? If a site is down, I think that was back in Africa, Nigeria. So they were still using generators to power their site. Their site which is the network, the servers there. So they use that's their so it's called like it's like their backup. So each location they have a backup there, right? So they have a backup at those particular places. So each location they send signal from one region to another region, and they have a backup and they save everything. They save it there. Now, when the generator goes down, automatically the people in that area will not have network, right? When they don't have network, they will have to call. Somebody will call. Now, because some people are monitoring it already, they will easily know when the generator goes down because they will have some indication that, oh, that's the generator is down. Now, immediately they notice, they will raise a ticket saying this site is down. This time it went down. This okay. Then they will have to get someone. They have to call someone who will work on it. That is their assigned to. Now, automatically, when you create a group, you can make all these things automatic that they will just pop up because you choose the right CI. Assigned to will be able to know who you are assigning to based on the CI. Tayo, are you getting understanding now? Is it making more sense now?
Yes, it's making more sense.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So that is what you need it for. Now, with this page, it just tells you, for instance, this is the number. You're creating the ticket, so this is the number. Who called? How did you get the information? How did you know that the site was that site was down? Is it that people called or you found it? You put those information. There are subcategories. Now, at what stage now? When you create that ticket, it can be on a new. But once you escalate further, you've assigned it to the person who is in charge of it. You can change the state if you want to. That is where you have progress. You have your progress, you have your old resolve and all that. Now, depend on how many people the site is providing services to. I'm just using the telecommunication company. You can be other companies. Every other company can, all companies can use CMDB to manage their system, to have visibility, to be able to see. So guys, that is just the clear usage of how you use your CI. Right now, because of the CMDB, that's why your CI is efficient. Because that CMDB is what we call what your source of truth, is where it keeps all those information. So we're just going to go back to what we're doing. I just want to show you how you can create. So you can go to what? You can go to add, and you can create a name. You can put this, just create all these things. You have your attribute part. There's one other part I want to, yes. Oh. All right, so I'll go to your CMDB CI.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Apart from the code you use, the CMDB underscore list and the rest, what's the direct link someone can click? The direct option, rather.
All right, so when you, okay, so if you want to go there, you come back here. I was trying to get configuration, CMDB CI. So when you go to your configuration, right now under your configuration, you go down to, no, not change. Now you go down to configuration here, right? Under configuration, it's not even under your self service analytics. Now, this is where you're going to see what your configuration. Now, under your configuration, this one is under your CMDB 360. Is a schedule job. You have your multi-reporting build. You have your CI class manager. So on, you can click on this your CI class manager when you want to create a class. Right now, if you don't want to do that, now you can see your different. These are all your CIs. But this one is under your application service. So now let's just click on Tomcat. No, it's not coming up. So I click on all. I click on Java. All right, guys, this is what I was trying to show you guys. Now, these are your dependency. Now, on this dependency part, right, it shows you. So if you click on this one now, depend on, all right, so like I said, if you come here, show dependency. Once you click on this show dependency, guys, you are going to see how your system is being connected and how they are run. Right? So when you come here, you can see it said depend on, used by. So I'll just give you a case scenario also. While at work, I was trying to get a particular, because I worked on software asset management, yeah. So I was trying to work on a particular publisher. And while working on a particular publisher, I need to get the information of who is the technical owner of that publisher. But it was difficult sometimes because you have to go to a particular place to check if that information is there about that publisher. If you can't find that publisher, because we are using CMDB as our source of truth, it will give us what more leverage. So what we go is we go to your CI, we go to the CMDB CI. Now, when we go to the CI, we will now look for used by. Now, when you say used by, it tells you which application or who are those that are using this particular application. That is why you have used by. You have depend on. So if you check this one now, used by, you check this one is used by. Now, when you come down, used by, so these are all people using this application. This one is using this application. The arrow tells you how it is being moved. So dependency view gives you a clear vision of how it's being mapped, right? Of who's using it, of how it's used, what it runs on. If you check, and you can look for one that say runs on, another one that has runs on also, you can see that. So all these ones, they are all used by depend on. So they all depend on Oracle. This one depend on MSQL, Flex. You can also create these things, right? But you only create them based on what the user story. So we're just going to do one where we're going to say, okay, it depends on. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to create a class from the CI. So when we create a class from the CI, that was what I was trying to do before. So we either create it. So like I said, the first thing you do, you go to your class manager, your CI class manager. Now, when you save anything on your class manager, right, it comes up as CMDB on your table. Now, let me just show you that quickly before we do this. So now, if I go to table, so if I go down to table, guys, can you see what I'm trying to say? Under your table, your CMDB are also stored there. So whatever you do on your CMDB comes here and it stays there on your table. But it has its own acronym. You see the name. So you see, these are all tables that have been stored in CMDB on your CI. When you create anything on your CI, it comes here as a CMDB underscore this. So you can see them here. Now you have your CMDB configuration item. Now, this is where it's like you see, it's global. This is where every application in CMDB gets their what extend from. This is where they all extend from. Right? This is your base configuration item. That's the first table. So if you're asked what kind of tables, the key tables, like I said, CMDB 1, CMDB CI 2, CMDB underscore REL underscore CI. Those are the three key tables that are very important in your what? Your CMDB. Now, so if we go back here now, come back here and say we want to create, so we'll go to configuration. You look for CI class manager. You click on open hierarchy. Now, under the hierarchy, you have to, all because of in ServiceNow, you have to align your CI to a particular class. You have to align your CI to a particular class. So you can click on, for instance, you want to like, I'm going to give you guys an assignment. I don't know how you're going to just do some, just try to, I'll give you all the information you need, right? And I want to see how you go about it. And if you don't get it, we're going to do the practice in class. We just take a few out. I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to rush that out. So if, for instance, you're going to create it under server, for instance, so you're creating a new server. So you go to server like this, you click on server. Now you click on this. So you want to create a child under this server. So if you check, you can see the hierarchy. First of all, is configure item is equals to hardware. So under your CI is hardware, first of all. Now under hardware is linked down to what? Computers. Now under computer, that's where you find your server. So which server are you creating? You can click on what? Add a child class. Now, mind you, all these guys, they are all taking attributes from your configuration item. So you're not doing anything new. You're just passing down their what? Their attribute. So you click on add a child. Now, when you add a child, I think I've done that. I've created one. Let me just share that one with us instead of creating new one again, because it might take me some time to get that sorted. So let me just go back, get out of this one. Mm. Just a minute, guys. I need to just stop sharing. So while I'm getting us preparing the other instance, do you guys have any question? Do you all understand what the CMDB is? Do you understand what the CI is? Do you know what is used for? Do you know why they have CMDB? So I'm waking up my instance. So another thing you need to know, so basically service mapping, we've talked about, so we just did the basic thing you need to know on CMDB, but it's a whole lot of, it's a bit complex topic, right? Because there are different things, the different components involved in CMDB. So I can just give you a short rundown of how it works anyway, basically. Now, after it's been discovered, whichever means you are bringing in your data, now when you bring in your data to CMDB, you have to make sure that you are bringing the right data. Now, there are sometimes you have this, there's what they call stale, obsolete, obsolete, obsolete data, right? When you say stale data, maybe data that has not been in use, right? You have your obsolete data that is no like so how did you check those things? You can have a CMDB. If it's not functioning, then there can be issue. So it needs to be updated regularly because that is your source of truth, right? So your data coming, now use your IRE to check. Your IRE is basically your what? Your identification. Now, your identification, what it does is when you are bringing in data from different source, right? You have to check which data should, or which one should be more important to update most of all this place. Now, identification helps you to make sure that the data you are bringing in first is not being duplicated. Now, if Jackson, do you have any question?
Yeah, sorry, I've been struggling with my mic. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, so what?
All right, yeah. So which section is the discovery ones?
The discovery, I'm not going to go into discovery. I'm only going to explain to you. After your admin, then you can actually do more about the discovery. That's when you are going to go through your CNDB CI.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
because I wanted to ask further questions. If information is already there, um, well, maybe I think I'll wait for that one, maybe during that time, because just
No,
to
just
think of
ask. What's the
it.
question? Just ask your question. What's the question? Yeah.
If we impute create these things ourselves, maybe a child inside
Yeah.
maybe a server and the rest, and there is a discovery that comes and finds a device,
Yeah.
will it still update what we've already created or just add to it?
That is why you need. That is the essence of your identification.
Okay,
So your identification will go and check. Do you have this particular CI?
okay,
Now,
okay.
if he says yes, you have the CI, you will now update the attributes. So think, for instance, you have a CI where your processor, your RAM is maybe 32, right? Because that is when we created, we created with 32, right? Now, when you are updating it, Discovery has brought the information it's got, right? You will check this name. First of all, is it level? Do you have level node there? Yes, you have level node, right? The OS, is it the same OS? Yes. Now you check those first basic questions. If they are all equal, then it will update instead of
Mm,
create new.
okay,
That
makes
is
sense.
what your identification does. Now your reconciliation is for like update. Do you get? Now, if you keep bringing more information, which of them should be more important to update this part or not to update this other one? So one is just to identify, the one is to update. Mind you, they have to also making sure that any duplicate you have is also being resolved. So your IRA does that basic thing for you. Making sure that so we have this deduplication. When you have duplicated CI, you can resolve them. They are all out of the box resolution process where you can also resolve that. All right, my instance is up now.
All right, I think my second question will now be this. Can you still hear me? Sorry about that.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. With respect to managing, we are managing. Managing is just managing the data, like the read sections of these devices or thereabouts. Does it
Yeah.
like manage them with respect to turning them off or not if you want to? Is there any configuration to manage like to the point of maybe putting it out of service? Maybe if you want to put, does it manage the live kind of information or?
So that's why I knew I made mention of the life cycle, right? The life
Mm-hmm,
cycle of a CMDB, of a CI. So
mm-hmm.
up to retirement, you can retire a CI. When you have obsolete CI, you have stale CI, you have duplicate CI, you can resolve them, right? Something, for instance, if you are trying to how am I going to put this part now? If you have a CI that is not in use, but when it has information to update that particular CI, it's not updating. After 14 days, all other ones are updated. That one is not updated. That one is a stale CI. Now, obsolete CI are those ones that are not in use at all. They are not functioning at all again. Do you get? Now, if you can have those ones also, you can have ones that are active. Do you get? You can retire any CI if you want. Does that
Okay.
answer your?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
that's why
yeah,
you
yeah,
have CNDB retirement definition. You can retire it. Now,
yeah.
if you notice, I'm using the old version. This is the recent one, Australia, right? You can at least you can under Australia, under CMDB. That's what I was looking for. Under CMD, look at the options you can see. You have a query builder, you have remediation, where you have your stale, duplicates, and obsolete. Now you can create a report if you want. That report is about correctness, compliance, and no, correctness, completeness, and compliance. Right? Those are the three. You get that from your report. Now you have your retirement. You can retire it. You can check the health dashboard. You can check class view. You can check service view. You can also check the life cycle management of each of the CI. That is where that's where bring about your retirement. If any CI is not useful and you know you don't need that anymore in your system, you can also check the life cycle, and you get to you can retire that.
Yeah,
So this is where you have your okay.
I think my question is exactly not about like managing these like data and
Okay.
yeah, of course retiring is just for you to like remove it from these data or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
turn off maybe like a choice.
No,
This
but
is
there's a
retired or
process.
thereabout.
There's a process. So all these things actually, no one can actually delete a CI without
No,
approval.
this noise coming from.
Is that?
So there's a noise like flickering on. I don't know
Hello?
whether I'm the only one seeing this. Like the meat is flickering, like the is shaking.
From my end. Can you hear me now?
Maybe it's from my own end. Sorry about that. I don't know.
Okay, okay. So what's your question? What's your question? Maybe I didn't
So
get your question.
my question, I think I need to be I need to be a little bit specific.
Okay.
We get every information of this server, everything. Does it also manage the functionality of the server, not just the data?
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, if you use your so it must not be discovery, right? Now, if I'm creating a CI, I did create one CI. So let me go to my class view. No, not I don't want to go to class view. So I have to go to CMDB CI configuration. C action, CMDB add no workspace. Validation support. All right, so under the group, if I go to, you have your device, PC, service, all the application and all that. So let's go to that. Let's go to server. Oh no, I want to show you. Underscore CI. So guys, this is what's going to be updated. These are the information you get. For instance, this one is a computer, right? So if it's a server, you're going to get informations like these are called the attributes, right? So the OS domain, the operating system, the OS version, the RAM, the CPU manufacturer. It's going to give you are the one managing it, right? Now, if you query, for instance, if you get into a house and you say you are managing the house, right? Now, what the discovery does for you is it gets you everything that is inside the house. It just lists them for you. So all you get is the listing. Oh, this is what you have. Oh, it does list it. This is what you have. It lists it. This is what you have. It lists it. Did that answer your question, guy? Jackson.
Yeah, but you've not understood my question. Just let me be more also specific. If you want to turn that server off from this service now, anywhere it is located, can you do it from a service now?
No, no, no.
That's what I mean.
ServiceNow does not have control over that server,
It's just
right?
about the data, just managing the whole data.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What we are saying is this: what your ServiceNow does is, I have a house. No, I have a server, right? I'm using this server. This server is in my system. So if you check my system now, everything that is open in my system, I only have control how to use them, but I cannot go and turn them off wherever they are. So it's just the information of everything you are using. That's what you can do with it. So obviously, no, you can't turn a server off from ServiceNow.
All right. And lastly, from me, so does it mean that if a company is using this ServiceNow
Yeah.
package, and this CMDB is one of the major things they use to manage their infrastructure, like is is really like is necessary, one of the most valuable models, like to like
So
learn apart
it's
from
it so it's not just necessary. So you have to pay for it. There's a
okay, this
paid
one is the
version.
third one.
Yes, there's
Okay.
a paid version. Now, depend on what the company want to use,
Mm,
right? There are other applications which company have to manage their data or to manage their inventories. So
mm.
before they used to have what inventories, right? Oh, this is what I bought. This is what we have. Now inventories is different from this. This is what you are using. Everything that you have, right? Everything you are using, your laptop, all your printers, your monitors. Like my company, will use ServiceNow as a source of truth. Call it source of truth as our CMD. We use ServiceNow CMDB to save all the information about all we have, all our CIs and the relations. So it's not mandatory. But if the company feel that they can use ServiceNow for you can use ServiceNow for different things. You can buy ServiceNow module for different things, right? You can buy it for ticketing, you can buy it for anything at all. Depend on what you want it for. But it's
Okay.
also a good one. But now ServiceNow made it mandatory that after you are done with your admin and you done your developer, you need to understand everything about CMDB.
Okay, but as in this admin we are pushing now,
Yeah.
um, CMDB is also necessary, but not too detailed. Is that what you mean?
No, yes. CMDB is just give you information about it.
Okay.
Yes, you can
Um,
create it. We can create CMDB here. Depending on the user story, we can create one. When you create a CMDB, I did created one before. Um, that was why I checked. So if I go to my tables, I have HHD. So you know that HHD I told everyone to create. Olo, sorry. So if you can see, there's one Olo hardware here. So if we click on this hardware, so you see, I created this one myself. Now this is a table. You can see it's under what name under CNDBCI hardware. So if I come here, for instance, underscore list dot do. So these are all the hardware under your the CIs. This is category. This classify classes hardware. Now I can create a new one under the hardware again. I can create a new one. Now you can add all this information and you submit. So these things you are just creating them. You can create based on your what do you call your user story. You'll be given a user story. It gives you a detail of what and what to do, where you need to go to create them. Let's go to configuration. We'll go to CI. Like I said, you go to configuration, you go to CI class manager, guys. Under configuration, you go to CI class manager. Under your CI class manager, you click on it and it talks about open hierarchy. So you click on that open hierarchy when it opens, and you will be told to act like you have to align it to a class. You can't create your own. You have to align it to a base what you have to align it to a base class. So you click on open, you align it to any of the classes here. So if I'm aligning to hardware, I go to hardware. And from here, you can when you've created, so if you go to hardware now, so under hardware, You can see this is what I created. Now under this, you can see what attributes. You can add your attributes if you want. They have derived attributes, like I told you. You get some attributes already from the parent passed on to the child. Now, this is your identification rule. What does the identification rule do, guys? I told you it help you what know whether whatever data you are bringing in, if you have to update or what, you have to create a new one. Now, when you're on the back, so you see, indicate whether a CI can identify independently, otherwise, it includes at least one active identifier entry. So, and also you when you are updating it, this is where that's why I said when you are done with this preliminary part, you go into more detail of it. Now, you can choose which table to get information from first. So let's say you have three sources of data, right? You can decide who should lead, where should I get this data from. So some people might say CMDB discovery is very good in getting your operating set, your RAM, and all those things. Now you can make that the basic source. You can configure that to be the basic source. So when information comes in from ServiceNow, comes in from import set, comes in from integrated ALT integration, or integrated with AWS or something, or and all that. So now you can decide which should you have to check those things then first before. So if you check that discovery brought out the operating system, that is the priority. So it has to update first of all before you can check an import set where people bring in import data manually, right? So you have your what your reconciliation rule to check for the duplicate updates basically, and you check for your suggest relationship. Now this suggest relationship, guys, you can create. This is where you can add. So you come here, you click on add. So you can see these are the relationship. If you have a target class, so this is how you keep adding things. So you can come in and say, for instance, you can look for use by. Now, use by who? Which department? Which in your organization, which department is using it? So you can choose any department, you can say APEC host, and you save. Once you save it, just give it a while, you can see it will create. Now this is used by. You can come here again, you can say new. So whenever you say new, you can assign again, runs on. You can go to distribution where you can click on load, you save. Now you've done that. Now we'll come to this one. Under this, we click new. You choose again. Connected by. So from here, you can keep adding and you can keep what? Subtracting. So that is all for your this CMDB. That's all for CMDB. So we're going to go over to the next one, which is your knowledge article. So I'm going to just stop sharing. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let's. Apart from that, does anyone have any question before we go further? Guys,
Sorry, I want to ask, what is there anything called standard list?
standard list
Yes,
in CMDB or generally?
yes, in generally in in ServiceNow.
List is basically is where you see records, right? We have default list. So when you create a form, when you fill a
Okay.
form, a record is created, right? So when you fill a form, a record is created. Now, the accumulation of that record, that is what you get as your list. Does that answer your question? All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Like I said, just in case. Now, reconciliation is just about data source. Sorry. Just who to update which attributes. Why your identification basically is just to tell you, like, determine the incoming CI just to check if they exist or if they don't what exist. Now we have your what CSDM. CSDM in ServiceNow is like it's just like a governance in a way. It tells you how things are being, how things should be organized, how things should be organized in ServiceNow. So that is this. So this is what I was trying to show. This is what I did explain initially. So you go down to, for those asking how to create it, how you start up, like you need to go to your CI class, and from there you get your basic. So when you choose, you click on add child, and you create your attributes, depending on the kind of attribute you have. Then also, this is where you add. You can keep adding your suggestion. You can add depend on, or so you can see everything we are doing is linked to your server, right? The server that was created, everything was linked to the server, so they keep adding, and that is how they got that part. Now, this is your CSDM, which is called Common Service Data Model, right? It's a recommended framework in ServiceNow that standardize how organization model business services, technical services, applications, infrastructure, and their relationship in the CMDB. Now, if you look closely, it just there is a framework that identifies where to place data for the product you are using. Now it directs you control. So when you create a CI, how should you put your CI? If you have your business class, where should it be? When you design it, where should it be? Who should be responsible? How do you choose who should be responsible for a particular what application, a business application? So you have your business application owners, you have your enterprise architecture, you have your business relationship manager, you have your custom service manager. All these are organized structure. It tells you how you should what go about it. Now, why is CMDB important and CSDM important? Now, without your CSDM, yeah, different team model service different. So first of all, you need to know that every team model service differently, right? So that you don't duplicate, they don't duplicate each other, right? To remove what duplicate and inconsistency. So if this is a pattern, for instance, you have your business capability, you have your business application, you have your business information. It's going to be constant for all, right? Now, when you talk about your service mapping and impact analysis, they might be unreliable, because if today you are mapping your server A to server D, and if it changed tomorrow, because discovery and mapping is just what they see, they are bringing the information, right? If it changes, there's no standard for that. But with your CMDB, everyone can have the same data model. Your CMDB data is standardized. Application and infrastructure are linked correctly. You will be able to relink them correctly. And also service dependency are visible, right? Now, impact analysis is more what? Accurate. So these are part of the benefit of your C common service data model. So it just give you what? It's like it's an infrastructure, it's a framework, a CMDB based framework. So that is for that. Now, another few information to get from it is, like you can see, CSDM organize CMDB data into several domains, right? You have the foundation, you have the design, you can see them. So these are the domains that they are all arranged in. You have your design, you have your sell and slash consume, you have your what? Manage technical service, you have your what? Build, right? Now, the foundation, first of all, is just like a core business information. Now, in ServiceNow, there are some information you cannot discover, right? You cannot discover them out of the box. Those information, you cannot discover them out of the box at all. So how? Like organized by company, group, location, department. Those things cannot be discovered. What can be discovered is operating system. What operating system are they using? So we have discoverable and non-discoverable. For your non-discoverable, those are your foundational data, right? You need them. Now, design is all about what? Your business application, application service, technical service, right? Now, your business application could be you created an application, maybe application that would get money from people using your internet. That is your business applications. Now, one about what? Managed technical service. Those are your infrastructure, technical service supporting your business application. You come to sell and consume. That is what? Business services. Those people use them and consume. So when you sell, so after designing your application, you have your what? Your technical side. What exactly you can have your data set and all that. Now, who are those using it? Those consuming it. That is under your what? Your sell and consume. Build. Who develop that application for you? That is under the build. So that is the structure of what? Common service data what? Model. Now, I'm just going to give you a brief example, then we're going to go to the last part so that you just have more understanding. So when you're talking about business capability, example of that could be your payroll, your order management, customer support. Those are what your business capability. Now, when you're on about your business application, example could be ServiceNow, Salesforce, Workday. Those are what? Business application. ServiceNow is a business application. Now, service, right? SAP production, HRO portal production, because they are running instance in an application. That is how you know that this is an application service. They are running instance in an award application. Now, when you talk about technical service, example could be your Active Directory, your email service, your database service. Those are your technical service. Now, your business service can be email, HRO, self-service. online banking is a business service. Now you talk about what you know about configuration item basically, which is all part of it used towards these are so your CI is everything here, right? Your CI tells you everything you have. So that is how they are all linked together. All right, guys. So we're going to go to the next slide. With this, we'll still come back again to our instance, so that at least we can. I'm just going to do extra 30 minutes, then we'll call it a day. Is that all right by you guys? Okay. All right. So I'll carry on. All right. So when you talk about knowledge article, the first thing that comes to your mind is for those that are working in an environment. So I have an issue with my login details, right? Or maybe I'm logged in and I'm trying to access a portal and I don't even know how to access it. Now, the first thing you want to do is, if it's an HRO question, you want to go to the HRO assist or helpline, and you reach out to them and say, oh, I have this issue. How do I go about it? My pension. I want to increase my pension. How do I go about it? Now, if you have 100 staff and you have 100 staff in general, and you have only 5 people working in an HRO department, and you have about 20 to 30 people calling in every day to get sometimes same information, don't you think that's going to be exhausting for the 5 staff? True or false? So if that's going to be exhausting, that brings in this ability of what ServiceNow talked about it. In ServiceNow, they have a module which is knowledge article. Now, what is the essence of this knowledge article? Its essence what is to help what simplify some certain tasks, tell you how to resolve those tasks even without calling. So if there's a knowledge article where you can just go and check and say how to increase my pension, and it's going to give you a detailed information step by step on how to resolve that. That is where knowledge article comes in. Now, if you see the definition there, is just a knowledge article is in ServiceNow, help organization capture, organize, share, and use knowledge to improve what productivity, reduce resolution time, and enhance user and agent experience. Now, there's AI agents everywhere now where they know where to point. So if you reach out to customer care, for instance, of late, is a bot that will attend to you first, and the bot will ask you in clear words, what do you want? Because they have a knowledge article, they can even nowadays even call companies, they do that also. So instead of you overloading them with the same question, so if 10, 15, 20 people ask one question, you provide an article for that question, right? To reduce their own time of answering it, to increase their productivity. Now, under knowledge article, what it says is a centralized repository of information. Knowledge is a centralized repository of information. You can get lots of information there, right? A best practice can be used to what resolve issues, answer questions, like I said, and support decision making. Basic key factor is fast time resolution, improve productivity, consistent answer, better. So because there's an article, you don't have to guess. There's no guesswork again. Go to the article and you get the information. Where knowledge is used, agent workspace, Now Assist, you have your service portal, you have your employee center mobile app. You can be there, you can use it for your mobile app, also virtual agent and all that. knowledge life cycle. When you talk about knowledge life cycle, it starts from what? When you create, capture to the author. Who is the author? Who will approve? You are the author. You creating the knowledge article is the author, right? Who will approve it? It has to be a manager. The manager in charge of that particular department will approve it. Publish. Now, is it important? You can rate it. There are other informations there to rate that tell you, is this thing useful? Should we keep it? If it has high rating, if it's not useful, people give their comment. You can check this comment, and you can also retire that what article. Now, type of knowledge is what? Articles. Step-by-step solution. You have your FAQ, right? Answer to what? Answer commonly, right? Just answer to question. Ask frequently asked question. That's FAQ, frequently asked questions, right? You have how to guide. These are part of, they are all under articles, right? Basically, you can create them. News and announcement. Now, what are the features? Rich text editor, category, tagging, and all that as display here. Now, how knowledge work in ServiceNow. Now, this is just a clear example how it works. The user agent search the knowledge, reads it, gives feedback, analyzes it, and from his own analysis comes what? Improvement. Now, they've got permissions in ServiceNow. I'm going to display that. That's not visible enough. Now, what is it related to? The application that is related to incident management, problem management, change management, service catalog, agent workspace, now assist, and generated AI. Right? So basically, all right. So now, best practice: create clear, accurate, and user-friendly content. Use consistent templates and categories. Review and update article regularly. Encourage feedback. Measure effectiveness. Promote knowledge reuse across the organization. Now, this is just an overview, right? An overview of what knowledge, what article. Now, another thing you need to know first of all is no, I think that one is not. We're going to get to that. So now these are the personas, people are that have the rights, right? Just like what I told you about ServiceNow instance generally, that you have personas, right? In each of the modules, there are personas. Now you have people that have the right to create knowledge, people that have the right to configure a flow, people that have the right to modify, right? People that can create, modify articles. Now, these are the personas in ServiceNow. You have the admin, knowledge admin, you have knowledge manager, you have a manager coach, a knowledge coach, you have knowledge domain expert, you have knowledge group manager, you have knowledge group member, you have knowledge can communicate and contribute, knowledge can view, nobody system. Now, this dot indicates what ability they have, what they can do in knowledge article with this what, with these roles. With these roles, each of them can do different activities. Now you can see from the dot, admin, ServiceNow admin has the highest role, right? Followed by who can also create is only knowledge admin and admin that can create an article. Anyone that don't have this role cannot create an article, right? Now, when it comes to who can modify, you see the manager also can modify, but the manager cannot create. He only has rights to modify. He can create, import, manager can do that, coach can do that, coach can admin domain expert can also create and modify. Sorry, when it comes to create knowledge base, so there's knowledge base. Knowledge base is different from knowledge article. Sorry, I'm also going to show that knowledge base is different from knowledge article. So the article, you can create it under a knowledge base, right? You can create that under a knowledge base. So basically, first of all, um, your knowledge, under knowledge management, you have your what is the plugin you need is com.snc dot knowledge kc capability. I'm just going to put that there. So you need to check if it's not enabled. If you don't have that plugin, then they have to check. You have to check for the plugin. And like I said, if you want to get plugin, guys, where can you get plugin in ServiceNow? Where can you get your plugins in ServiceNow?
Yeah, I think from the team builder or UI system. I think.
No, you can get your plugin from plug. When you go to ServiceNow, you click on plugin, or you go to ServiceNow store. You get now that's so when you check, if you go through your university, when you go through the ServiceNow University, it's stated there. Once you click on plugin, I'm also going to show you, and you also go to your ServiceNow store, you'll be able to see all your plugins, and you can download them. Can download your plugins. Now, another detailed explanation of knowledge management, right? Under your knowledge management, like I said, um, ensure that first of all is you allow organization to create, categorize, manage, and share knowledge article efficiently, right? It's ensure users to have a centralized and structured repository of what information, right? And I told you the admin and the knowledge admin can what create knowledge base, right? And you need to what there are three plugins. So you need to activate the plugins. Sorry, you need to activate the plugins, and there are roles. You have your KC contributor, KC publisher, and KC candidate. So when you activate the plugin, these all things comes with it with the plugin. Now, the key terms in knowledge management basically are knowledge article. Now, what is an article? The record that provide information like policy, troubleshooting step, self-help tips, right? They are all what knowledge article. Now they are mapped into topic and categories, basically. Now, knowledge base. Knowledge base is a repository that stored categorized knowledge article, right? Knowledge article assets such as article document, FAQ, which we have all seen in the previous slide, right? Now you have your what? Your knowledge management application is a built-in ServiceNow feature to manage and maintain knowledge what article. Now that is where you have to do with your rating, which we're also going to see. You have your knowledge portal, is an advanced UI for knowledge search. We're going to check it when you go to your SP service portal, you click on knowledge, you'll be able to access. All right, so you're going to access that. Now you have your feedback management where you see where they rate and you get your feedback back, and all that. So the next where we're going to go to now, we're going to go back to the knowledge article. Now there are stages also. We have the create. Yeah, I think that everything has also that all been displayed here. Now another thing you need to know is this: when you have your knowledge base, this is the structure. It comes down to what knowledge category, right? Knowledge category. From there, you have your knowledge article, right? So when you have a department. Now, you can have IT department, your knowledge have to be categorized. It has to be in a knowledge base. So each of those knowledge base are the categories. Now, when they are categorized, they are in categories, you have to now create one based on it. So whatever, if I want to create an article now, what is it going to be used for? Which department we need it? So if it's an IT department, you go first to IT category, you click on IT, then you create your knowledge under that category, right? So that is just the structure of that. Now, basically, these are the steps: knowledge base, knowledge category, draft your article, approval process, publish article, article feedback. When you don't need the article again, there's still process also for you to retire the article. Now, when you once there's what called publish and unpublish, guys. Now, for everything you are creating, for every article you create, if you don't publish it, no one will see it. Only articles that are published, that are visible, and you have to choose people. That's where your ACL comes in, user criteria. So you have to choose people or who can actually see those your article. You don't want everybody to have access to them. You can also restrict it using user what criteria. Take note. Now, when you publish an article, call publish, there's a flow, right? These are the flow. Instant publish. There's what you call instant publish. You don't need anybody to approve it. So once you just create an article like this, automatically once you click on publish, you don't need approval for that. It just gets created. Now there's another one that you need. There's a stage also that you need an approval. For this one, once you create an article, you need someone to approve it before it will be published. If it's not approved by your manager, then it cannot be published. Now it's also the same for retire. When you want to retire an article, you can just click on retire and it will just go. Depending on how it was created, you can click on retire and it will just go. And also, there's a point where you need an approval to retire an article before it is being retired. When you say retire, it's no longer in use, no one can access it. That's what we call retire. Is there any question, guys? Any confusion, any misunderstanding? All right, guys. I think I'm done for today. So tomorrow we're going to start, because at least so that we'll just have a brief exercise. We'll just create the knowledge article and we'll enter service. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Concerning my instant, when I opened my ServiceNow, the instant, I use the instant on the ServiceNow page dashboard.
Yeah.
But there's this developer too. Watching the video, I create an instance on the developer dashboard. But
Right.
the developer dashboard eventually come into my mail, and it came with expiring date. It's going to expire tomorrow.
So
So if it expires tomorrow, how would I
where
continue with
did you
instant?
so did you create an instance on dev? Did you create a dev instance, or it's on university, on ServiceNow University that you create your instance?
I create on dev, yeah. But when that one is on, when it was on wait
Have you
for a very
checked,
long time.
have you checked that they've not given you an instance? Have you checked they've not given you an instance? Go back and check.
Is
Go back and
is
check
it
it.
on dev?
Yes, on dev. Go back and check your dev. They
I
must
don't
have.
even know how to. I don't even know how to get to see my instant on dev.
All right. I need someone that been in this class. Can you just send in the dev instance to him so that I can have access? You know where to find it, guys. Can someone just drop that on the chat now? Just drop the dev instance. Let me see if you guys are aware. All right. I'm going to
No, I
say.
didn't get you. No, I didn't get you. Did you mean dev instance for what?
So how do you get to your dev instance? Like not the universal, not the ServiceNow University, your own developer instance. Have you got your developer instance now, Jackson?
Um, I no, I use the university one, but I think there's something you you pointed out to use that code there and just change
Okay.
the number. I don't
So
know. I've not got my own code either.
let me share with you guys, right? Let me just share that with you guys. Just a minute.
So how long does your own developer instance last if you request for it? That is different from the university one.
So this is your the one you so that dev instance, there's no time frame. As long as you keep opening it, you don't have
Mm,
issues. So this is what I have. When you go to developer.servicenow.com, I'm going to drop this URL again for you guys.
okay.
Now, when you go to this place, log in. When you log in, create your instance from there. This one does not expire. So
Okay.
check the chat now, guys. If you don't have an instance, go and create your instance. Tayo, click on that link I gave you. Now, log in. You will see where they say, if you can check, this is my instance, right? This is my instance. So if I log in, for instance, if I go back to this place, it's just logged me out, so I have to log in again. All right, so I'm logged in already. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get something like this, right? Now you go to now. No, now, oh, no, I'm not in the right place. So I need to go to, so for me, I'm going to copy this back and come back here and click on this and click enter. So you can see, guys, this is what you will get when you come in. So if you register, this is what you get. Now, if you've not chosen your instance here, you have to go to manage my instance. Once you click on manage my instance, if you don't have anything here, you've not chosen an instance, then you have to choose. You can choose the latest one. Instead of Zurich, you can choose Australia. Now to choose Australia, I'm on Australia release, right? So if I want to go to my instance where I'm going to do my practice, it's just for me to click on this instance URL, right? Once I click on it, it's going to take me to what? To my instance. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah, I'm trying to log in into my instance. I think my own too has this start building.
All right, if you have
Okay.
start building, can you share your screen? Let me just use this time to just share your screen.
I'm using my iPad. I'm using my iPad. Okay, I don't know. Maybe let me just use. Let me connect. Let me connect with my. I'll connect with my laptop.
All right, so let me just use this short time to respond to any question and query that you are getting in setting up your instance. Jackson, have you checked that link and see if your instance is working? Okay, I know your instance is working already. Ime, is your instance working properly, or are you still using the Universal ServiceNow University?
I'm using the real one now.
All right, that's good.
Okay, okay. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, 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 sorry. I stepped out. Yeah. I've not migrated
I think.
to the
I think
developer
I'm
one.
on. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Please
Yeah.
continue.
Oh, sorry about. So I've not migrated to the developer one. I'm still on the universal one. But what I found out is when this says it's gonna expire within 1 hour or 2 hours, I will log in. Once I'm using it, that 1 hour will pass. It will still refresh again.
And but
So,
instead of you going through that stress, just go back to this URL I gave you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Just
I
go
think I
back
will do
and
that.
check
Yeah.
any instance available and choose. They will get back to you. It might take a while, but they will definitely
Okay, let
get
me
back.
go do it now. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, what are you saying?
Yes, I think I have the same platform like the one you have here. The instant URL is there, the user
All right, so
admin, current password.
click on that instance now. Just click on that thing. So go to this place now where you see my cursor. Are you seeing me? Can you see
Okay,
my
yes,
cursor?
sir.
On that,
Yes.
click on that to give you an instance.
Okay.
Now, this will be your username and password in case you don't want to So if I click on this, for instance, now I open a new link, right? Now come here, you see that where it's going to take me to. Oh no. All right, I'm just
Okay,
going
I
to use.
think I have another instant now that's logged in.
All right, so now how would you use your username and password? Let me show you. If you come here, for
Okay.
instance, and you click on logout, guys, when you click on logout, you have your username and password. Where will you get that from? This place. This is your username.
Okay.
Copy your admin. So if you don't know before, this is your username. So just save that. Come here, put admin.
Okay.
Now I will tell you why this is important, so that whenever you want to log in, this is what I dropped out one time. This is your own personal user ID. Dev 406. No one is unique to everybody that
Hmm.
registered, that have created their own instance. Now I need the password. I'll come here, click on this visible, I'll copy. Now when I copy
Okay.
that, come back to this place. You see, but if it's your work, you don't show stuff like this online because everyone can open it, right? So I
This
will have to
Okay.
go and change,
sorry,
I have to go
you.
and change my password, right? So I'm just showing you guys, but this is just what I use for. These are PDI, they are free, so there's nothing serious
Okay.
I do with it.
We
So I
can change the password. We can change
yes,
the password, right?
yes, you can change your password anytime. You can change your
All
password
right,
anytime.
sir.
So
All right, sir.
once I click on login from here, you will see automatically it will take me to my instance. So if you want to change
Yes,
your
sir.
password, so under your manage, so when you come down
So
here, yeah,
I've used the link now. It's asking me to request instance. So I need to click on request
yeah,
instance, right?
click on request instance, yeah,
I think I have my own now. Thank you so much.
yeah, you, 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 you. No, it's not what I want. So, does anyone have any question?
Like if it's gonna this developer
All
one,
right, so
if it
once,
wants to expire,
yeah,
will it let you know? Will it ask tell
yes,
you
yes,
it's
to
not
tell you to log in, to tell you to log in. So,
okay?
in case you want to reset your password, guys, there is this settings at the top of this place. Click on it. You can see reset instant password.
And password. All right, sir.
So from there you can reset your password. So I believe we have touched on knowledge article today, and we've also
So
touched
can I
on
ask?
skills. Yeah,
Can I ask? Yeah,
yeah,
what other thing are we looking forward to for this learning? Because I wanna, since there is no assignment today, I want to
To
focus
study
on.
ahead. Yep.
Yeah, no, no, not study ahead for me. I just the service now course. I just want to focus it now. Like what are we expecting more? Are we
what you're
expecting?
expecting more tomorrow. I'll give an assignment. What we're expecting more is service catalog. Now, after service catalog, you just touch more on notification. Then after notification, then hold on, let me check my syllabus. I have a syllabus. All right. So when we were done with your notification, then we've done service catalog. We'll touch a little bit on platform analytics, where you have to deal with your dashboard, right? So notification dashboard, service catalog, a bit about virtual agents and additional ServiceNow resources. Just tell you
So
more
like how many
explanation.
percent can we say this is now?
We've done 70% now. What is
Oh,
left is about 30.
okay.
So before the by the end of this, because I'm trying to explain these things, right? If I'm not spending time explaining them, we can get done with this thing in a day, even in 2 days. Everything we
Mm.
are doing, yeah, because I want you to understand them, to practice them, to do some stuff in it. That's the essence we are taking time. so that you just don't rush. So that when you go through the learning university, when you study on your own, you already have the understanding, right? What it's just going to give you is you now pick points, the things I did not specify, the things I did not say, or maybe things that I missed. You get those ones there also. They will still explain the same thing I'm explaining. But what I'm just doing is I give you example, like I also give you hands on experience, right? So that you can see exactly what we're doing. At least
How?
you've gone through the university, what's it called? ServiceNow University. You've seen the explanation, right? You see how they explain this stuff, right? And you can see the difference between coming to class and see what you get out of it.
Yeah, yeah. They don't explain so much about it, and they are very fast about it. In your own expectation, I know that every individual vary with respect to how they learn and also um how they achieve their goals. All things being equal, with your own expectation, where do you want, like, what month do you feel like, if we are doing everything right by this social time of this, we are meant to like get our certification?
By August ending, right?
Okay,
Everyone should have their certification.
okay, yeah, okay.
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 Are we going to pay for the certificate, or how is the certificate going to be? Sorry.
After the exam, after the class, that one it's not difficult. I'll show you how to get to that one, but you have to go through your university ServiceNow University. You have to finish that course for you to have a code so that you can pay for the exams.
All
All
right,
right,
sir.
guys. So we're going to continue tomorrow. What we'll do tomorrow is I'll just do a quick demo of how to create your knowledge article. Then we'll go to service catalog. And after service catalog, we might have three classes, 3 or 4 classes. Then we're done. Then you go and prepare at least mid. I'm just taking my time with you guys so that I can know if you if I if I'm too fast about this particular about some of the topics, the time you're going to spend trying to go through the examples and do that in a week. I know we guys are working, everyone has life and all that. So I'm just trying to factor that in my teaching so that you have time to learn, understand, and prepare. All right, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, cheers.
Ciao, ciao.